Hi friends, welcome back. Welcome to Crack Grade B. We are back with yet another very important lecture, that is GDP data quarter 1 financial year 22. That was released just today. Okay, so that was released by whom? We are going to see in the upcoming slide. So before we move to see the lecture, let me remind you that we have a mobile app in the name of Crack Grade B in Google Play Store. Okay, so download it for the free material as well as for the paid content. Okay, so let's begin with the lecture. First thing first, who released this data? Right, it is being released by MOSPI, means Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Under this ministry there is an office called as National Statistical Office, NSO, and NSO is doing all the thing under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, right? So I hope you already know this. Now let us start the lecture. But before we start the lecture, let me take you through the basics within very short time. Right. So this, if you know all these things, that works. It will be a revision for you. If you do not know, this will help you to understand, obviously. So let's begin. So first thing, what is GDP? Right? What is GDP? So in economy, all goods plus service produced within the geographical boundary of a country is called GDP. So if we add value of all the goods that is available in the economy and all the service that is available in the economy, we will come to GDP, right? But what kind of GDP? So there are two major unit. The number one is constant price, the number two is current price. So the number that we will get, if we calculate the market value of all goods and services, we will calculate the GDP at current price. Okay. By the name itself, it is clear. So if we are calculating the value at the current market price, abhi jo price hai, let's say a Parle G that is costing rupees 5 rupees in the market. So we are adding that 5 rupees as a goods. Let's say it ticket for the train costs 10 rupees. So we are adding that 10 rupees. Let's say mobile recharge costs 150 rupees a month. We are calculating it as 150, right? So we are not making any changes with the base year. We are just adding the goods and value of goods and services, that is with the price prevailing in the market. So the value that we are going to get will be GDP at the rate current market price. GDP at the rate current market price, right? Now, if we got the value as current market price. Now we adjust this value with what? With base year. We get GDP at the rate constant price. So what's the base year? Constant price. So base year is 2011-12. Okay, 2011-12. I hope GDP is clear. So I'm not explaining you the concept of GDP in depth. I'm just taking you through so that when you read about GDP, the data, you know what the basic is, right? So it's like a refresher for you. So I hope everyone knows what GDP is. This is just a refresher. Now, now on the other hand, let us understand what is GVA and how it is different from the GDP, right? So let us take an example. Let's say you want to manufacture this tractor. Okay, so what all things do you need to manufacture? You need iron, right, to make the body. Then you need rubber for making the tire. You need uh, electrical component for turn indicator, headlight, okay, and etc. And what you need is paint, right? So let's say the value of iron is 100 rupees, hypothetical example. And after the body is made, it comes to a place where the rubber is being attached, means the tire is being attached with the body of the tractor, right? So now the value becomes, let's say, 120. Okay. Now, then the electrical component is getting added. So let's say the value becomes 150. Then the paint is added. The value becomes 180, right? So now what is the value addition at each stage? It's 20. From here to here, it's 30. From here to here, it's how much? From here to here, it's 30. So this 100, what was previous? It's 0. Means 100. So if you add this 100 plus 20 plus 30 plus 30, so what will you get? 100, 120, 150, 180. So 180 is the GVA of this gross value addition of this tractor, right? So gross value addition means the value addition at every stage is known as GVA. So now what is this? So what we got? GVA at the rate basic price at current. So this is the current price. So now you know what is constant, what is current. So you got it as 180. Now see, a term is added at basic price. Now what is basic price? How to remove this basic price? So to remove this basic price, what you add? You add tax. So government is applying some tax, road tax, GST. So you add the tax and then you subtract the subsidy. Since this is a tractor, government might be giving any subsidy over it for farmers. This is known as net tax. And once you do and recalculate it, you come at GVA at the rate current price equal to whatever the value comes, right? Whatever the value comes. Now, from this current price, if you want to go to the constant price, how do you go? You adjust it with the base year, right? You adjust it with the base year. But in real term, GDP deflator is used, right? So let us not get into the concepts of national income and GDP. So I go, this is clear. Now, let's get into the current affair that was released today. Look, so let us calculate. Okay, so if you can mug up the data, that's great. So that's 20.14. Simple. But if you want to understand how this 20.14 came, now be with me for 30 seconds. I'm going to explain you. See. So GDP at constant price in quarter 1 of 2021-22 is rupees 32.38 lakh crore. Okay. GDP at constant price in quarter 1 of 2020-21. So see, if you want to measure the growth, you need some data from where you compare and calculate the growth. So what do? We calculate, we calculate the growth using the data of the previous year for the same quarter. Look, for the same quarter. Quarter 1 is compared to the quarter 1 of previous year. Look, this is 21-22, this is 2021, right? So at present the data is rupees 32.38 lakh crore. What? At the rate constant price. And previously it was 26.95 lakh crore. Now how do we come to 20.14? What is the difference between these two? It's 5.43 lakh crore. So simple, 5.43 divided by the previous data, 26.95 multiplied by 100, you get a percentage value 20.14. So this means it has grown. The GDP has grown by 20.14 percentage point for the quarter 1 of 2021-2022. So if this value comes out in negative, then GDP has declined, right? So if the value comes out in negative, declined. If the value is in positive, the GDP has grown, right? So now let's move forward and let us understand GVA at basic price at constant price, right? So you know what is basic price? Means this amount is not being adjusted with tax and subsidy, right? So before adjusting it with tax and subsidy, this is the GVA method. So GVA at basic at constant price. So for comparison, same year, same quarter of the previous year is used. Currently, it is 30.48 lakh crore. Previously, in previous year quarter one, it was 25.66 lakh crore. So the difference is 4.82 lakh crore. Same 4.82 lakh crore divided by the previous year's data, that is 25.66 lakh crore multiplied by 100, you get 18.8 percentage growth in the GVA at basic price at constant price, right? Now, let's move forward and let us understand also the current price. This is not much important because nobody talks about the current price because this is inflated, right? See, 12.34 lakh crore. The difference is because the inflation is high, the amount comes out to be bigger, right? So until unless it is being adjusted with the base year, if we compare, then it would not come out as the real picture because of inflation, right? So that's altogether a different concept. Let's not discuss that. So GDP at current price in quarter one of 21-22, that is at 51.23 lakh crore. So in previous quarter, it was 38.89 lakh crore. And for comparison purpose, same quarter is used for the previous year. So now it's 2021-22. Previously it was 2020-21. Okay. So the difference is 12.34 lakh crore. Again, using the same method, 12.34 lakh crore divided by 38, the previous year's data, 38.89 lakh crore multiplied by 100. The value comes out at 31%, 31.7% GDP at the rate current price growth. Okay. Let's move forward and let us see GVA at uh, basic price at current price. GVA at basic price at current price quarter one of 2021-22 it's 46.20 lakh crore, and for previous year it was 36.53 lakh crore. For comparison, same quarter of the previous year is used. So what's the difference? Difference is 9.67 lakh crore. Okay, using the same calculation method, we come out at 26.5% growth from the previous quarter, right? So the data looks great. Now, let us see some more things. But before we move forward, let us see all the important points in one slide. Okay, so pause this slide. If you want, you can take the screenshot. You need to so I hope you understood in the previous slide, but these are the data that you will have to remember. So there is no other option. This 20.14 percentage, what it is GDP growth of quarter one for 2021-22 at constant price. Okay, now this is GVA at constant, this is GVA at constant price. It's 18.8 percentage. Then GDP. So these are, if you want, you can ignore this, right? So we have put this data just to make sure that you know this data, because you never know, when you have some data you can write good answer in the descriptive paper, right? But yes, remembering this too is more than enough. Okay, now let's move forward. Let us see how this is done, right? Let us compare it. Look, so this is the GDP data, right? Year on year basis. So in quarter one, financial year 21, it was minus 24%. So this was the time when the corona first wave has hit the country, and majority of the industry, everything was completely put under the restriction and lockdown was imposed in the country. So this was during that period. So it's minus 24.4%. So huge degrowth, right? Then it recovered a bit, but again, when we have compared it with the previous year's quarter two data, it was minus 7.4%, right? Then we see a positive growth from financial year 2021 quarter three. Okay, so now it's 0.5%, then 1.6%, and now it's 20.1%. So see, so from here minus 24.4% and here it's 20.1%. So there is, you can see a huge slump, huge degrowth and huge growth in terms of percentage. Now, this is known as base effect that we are going to understand in upcoming slide. Okay. So before we understand what base effect is, so this is a slide for the GBA, right? So I'm not going to read all the things. You can pause the video, you can look the data. So the trend is same. It's minus, here it was minus 24.4%. Here it's minus 22.4%, then it's minus 7.3%, and here it started to grow till 18.8%. But you see from here to here, okay, here huge degrowth and here huge growth, right? So how is this? I mean, what do we call it in economics, right? So let us understand that this is known as low base effect, right? What we are going to see that in the next slide. So in this slide, let us compare. See, this is in lakh crore. So in the previous slide, you have seen it in the percentage, but here in terms of value. So quarter one FY 2020, right? It's 35.7. So if you have to compare, see, now it's 20.1 means this data it's 20.1 percentage growth. So this 32.4 is compared to this, okay? So this is compared to this period. Now here it's 39, okay? Here it was only 1.6%, I guess. So how do we calculate that 1.6%? Look, it's 39, here it's 38.3. See, in terms of value, it's 38.3 and it's 39. So very minute difference, right? So it's 1.6. So how will you calculate the difference divided by 38.3 multiplied by 100? You get it at 1.6%. Now, again, same. So quarter one FY 20. So this is compared to whom? This is compared to FY quarter one FY 2021. This one. So this 35 is compared to this 27 and we have got the data minus 24.4 that you have seen in the last to last slide. Means this slide. Look. Here it's minus 24.4%, right? Now, so minus 24.4% is too much. But see, in terms of value, it's not too much. It's 35.7 lakh crore and it's 27 lakh crore, right? Now, why is this much percentage decline? This is called base effect. What is base effect? Let us understand that with the help of a small example. Okay, so let us consider these are the years, right? And in 2018-19, the growth in the economy was 100, right? And what is the average growth of the Indian economy before the COVID? It was 6 to 8%, right? Sometime it's 6%, then 8%. This is so. Let us see. Let's say it's the growth is 107% from 2019, 18-19 to 2019-20, right? And from 2019-20 to 2021, it was, let us say, during this time the corona came, it became 70. Let us take an example. It became 70, means minus 37 decline. And from here to here, we see the recovery. So we see recovery at maybe again at 100 at the same level. Okay. You see from here to here, the growth is 30%. But you see from now, see from here to here, the decline is somewhere around 30 point something percent. But in average term, it's 7%. Okay. So the base effect means कि जो कंपैरिजन पीरियड है उस टाइम का डेटा अगर बहुत कम या ज्यादा है तो अभी का डेटा का जो परसेंटेज वैल्यू है वो बहुत ज्यादा बड़ा नहीं तो बहुत ज्यादा छोटा दिखेगा. Okay, so this is a very simple mathematical concept. That's it. Now come here. Now let us go back. Now let us see. from here 35.7 to 27. Somewhere it is see the decline is somewhere around 8.7 lakh crore. But if you calculate this in percentage, it would come as minus 24.7%. Now, this is the decline data, right? Now, when the new data came in this quarter, that is 32.4 lakh crore, we are comparing it with already declined data for the previous year, that is 27. So the percentage is high, 20.1 crore. Now, so you will have to remember one more point that after 1990, this particular data means 20.1 percentage is the highest growth after 1990, right? And how is that is possible? That is possible because of a base effect, and this is known as low base effect. Means the base is already low, that's why the data, the percentage that is coming up seems very high, right? Now, let's move forward in the lecture. Let us see. So adding up to this data is the GST collection data. So if you see the GST collection data, you see in March 2021, it was the highest, and still we can say the number is good, more than 1 lakh crore. The data is 1.16 lakh crore. Means the economy is on the recovery mode. From the GST data, it is clear that the economy is witnessing huge production, huge sales, because if there is no production, if there is no sales, the nobody is going to pay GST, right? So the GST collection is good. This means that the economy is witnessing the growth trajectory, right? So with this, we have come to the end of this lecture. But before we say goodbye, so these are some of the data. I won't read it, right? So absolutely, you are not required to remember all the data points, but yes, since this is a descriptive paper, you should have a basic idea of different sectors, right? Like the farm sector. Farm sector GVA growth was 4.5% compared to 3.5% earlier. So when you write some answer, remembering one line is not tough, right? So you can remember because you're writing NABARD exam. So hopefully in ARD section you will get some question related to agriculture, and this is something latest from the GDP data you can put. Right? So pause the video here, take a screenshot either, or pause the video, read it twice, thrice. Whatever you can remember will be an added advantage. So yes, now we have completed this lecture. Before I say goodbye, I would like to remind you to visit the website and look up on our course for NABARD Grade A and Grade B. Right. So this is one of the most economical and best course available in the country. Why I say the best course? Uh, we would not say, rather we would ask you to go ahead and check by yourself by downloading the app from Google Play Store and going to our YouTube channel. You can find some uh, reviews of the students who are working on the respective organization, and they have given the review of our course in a video. So you can watch them and make a fair decision. With this, thank you and happy learning. Let's meet in the other lecture.